Thank you to ESPN for hosting us at their Seaport Studios in New York. Last night, we watched 30 players join the NBA family, and today, we usher in another group of great players. So let's get the second round started. The 31st pick in the 2024 NBA Draft belongs to the Toronto Raptors, who have 4 minutes to make their selection.
The Toronto Raptors are now on the clock, so let's just take some inventory of where they are at. As our Adrian Wojnarowski reported, Scotty Barnes is set to sign a 5-year, $270 million rookie max extension. They're in a little bit of a rebuild right now after trading Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby during the season. Remember, they've missed 3 of the last 4 playoffs. The one that they made, they lost in the first round to the Philadelphia 76ers. So, Bob, I'm going to start with you here. When you're looking at what the Raptors need to do to get back into contention, Masai Ujiri is masterful when it comes to rebuilding rosters, always sort of in the middle of things, making these sorts of moves. But what do they need to do to get back into that eastern middle of the pack, at least, or contention?
Well, I'm just trying to say this nicely. They need a little more talent. I mean, they're trying to build around Barnes, quickly, and Barrett, but that's not enough. And Masai knows that. He knows. And he's competitive, and he's always trying to work the angles. But the question is, Malika, what is their timeline? Are they comfortable building? Are they comfortable waiting a few years? I know patience is hard for people to comprehend these days, but do they really want to get in the game right now with the Knicks and the Celtics, potentially the Sixers? Because that's a competitive game, and that's an all-in game. And they're kind of biting around the edges, but it's fascinating. They do have some nice quality young players, so they don't have to rush it. But again, it's going to be based on what's their opportunity. With some of these trades, they did get draft capital back, so they have some flexibility.
Yeah, and they just made a trade in the last hour. They took on Davion Mitchell from the Sacramento Kings. They also get the 45th pick in today's draft, and so they'll be drafting here at 31. Then at 45 from Sacramento, essentially gets some money off in that deal. But you're going to see the Raptors continue to gather draft assets. Masai Ujiri, Bobby Webster, their front office has a pretty strong record in evaluating talent, developing them, and that's the mode they're back in now in Toronto.
They gave up 49% shooting from the field. That was pretty bad. You're going to have to play better defense in order to win. I'm just looking at the stats here right now. It says that, they've allowed around that 49.1% shooting from the field, the worst they've allowed in the season of franchise history. I'm just thinking about it from along those lines. Scotty Barnes, I like him a lot. R.J. Barrett, I liked him in New York, but obviously I'm happier with OG Anunoby. We'll see what happens moving forward, but they need a lot of talent.
So let's take a look at some of the best available here in this 2024 second round. I want to bring Jonathan Givony back into the conversation if we could. There's some names here that we thought potentially we could see Jonathan go in the first round. Who are you taking a look at here?
Malika, Kyle Filipowski is a player that I'm personally shocked is still available on the board. He started the season a projected lottery pick with us. He's a 7-footer who can dribble, pass, and shoot. Second-team All-American, one of the best players in the ACC. Kyle Filipowski is going to be a long-time NBA player. I have no doubt about it. He did not have the best workouts, I heard, did not have the best interviews, NBA team said. Kyle Filipowski is going to be an outstanding NBA player.
Well, and the one thing, Jonathan does a great job with his best available, and what we're going to learn in the second round, and it's not best available here. It's about who has roster spots available, who has guaranteed two-way contracts here. You look at Toronto here with 31 and 45, and certainly you could see 45 going on a two-way contract here. So it's all about getting a deal done before the round 2 starts.
It's great. I love the 4 minutes, too. When I was a GM, there was 2 minutes, and it's such a scramble. You're trying to make a trade, and you don't know what's going on. You're yelling. There's too many people in the room, and all of a sudden the pick's over and the trade's gone. And I think 4 minutes is more humane for the entire league. 2 minutes was so fast that you could barely, and then you come back from commercial, and the 3 guys have been picked, and you're trying to figure out where your guy's going. I know you worked it too, Woj, from a different angle, but I like the 4 minutes. Allows for more deal, more conversation. And again, like Bobby said, a lot of movement in the second round, a lot of trading picks moving up and down and all around. So it should be fascinating today.
Well, and those 2 minutes are just about up. We're hearing that pick is just about in, waiting to officially send it back over to Mark Tatum at the podium. As soon as I get word that is where we're at, we will do just that. But picking up again just on the Toronto Raptors here, I'm just looking at the Eastern Conference, and it feels like, to borrow your favorite word, Stephen A., it's a little bit fluid. There are things that are fluid because we looked maybe at the Milwaukee Bucks last season that we thought were going to be at the top of the standings, and they weren't quite there. The pick is in, though, for the Toronto Raptors, so let's send it back to Mark Tatum at the podium.
With the 31st pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Toronto Raptors select Jonathan Mobo from the University of San Francisco.
Jonathan Mobo from the University of San Francisco. Gavoni, tell us what you like most about his game.
Jonathan Mobo only measured 6'6.5" at the combine barefoot, but he has a 7'2" wingspan, and he broke NBA team analytic models with his combination of rebounding, passing, and defensive playmaking ability. Explosive athlete, runs the floor exceptionally well, can grab and go off the defensive glass, finds teammates in the open court, outstanding rebounder. Very unique backstory, had 0 Division I offers coming out of high school, grew very late, went to 2 different junior colleges, then Missouri State, transferred to USF, and became one of the best players in WCC. Great story for Jonathan Mobo.
Jonathan Mobo headed here to the Toronto Raptors. Gavoni, thank you very much. And now the Utah Jazz, they are on the clock. And